Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to start with this. Last season, you guys have gone off to a 5-0 start, beating each team by at least 22 points. How important do you guys think it is to get off to another hot start this year?
You want me to go first?
Yes.
Yeah. As a coach, you always love those kind of starts. Sometimes at the beginning of the season, there are opportunities that would present itself that if you have you beat too many teams by too big of a margin, that's going to create a little bit of overconfidence. That wasn't the case last year. We ended up running into, of course, Waterford there. That's our TVC rival, and when we felt like the first part of our season, had kind of prepared us and everything, but you go up 19-0 on somebody, and you think you got the game in control. And of course, Waterford is well coached. Coach McCutcheon does an unbelievable job. They came back and got us 20-19. So, want to start out the season like that, but at the same time, this year we've got Meigs, is a formidable opponent. Coach Yates has done a tremendous job, but love those hot starts. But we'll be happy even if you win by one, So.
Absolutely. How about for you guys? How important do you think it is to get off to a good start and take something from those first few games?
For me personally, I believe that with us being a younger class, unlike the years before, just getting an early start in the year builds confidence for everybody else, and that'll just build on for the rest of the season and going into the postseason. That's just how I see it, and it's just a big confidence boost to getting a good start on the year.
Absolutely.
Good job, man. You did great.
Thank you.
So, hi.
Hello.
You opened your season playing Meigs, which is a team you've last played in 2003. How do you prepare to play a team that you very rarely see?
Yeah, so, one of the things in the history of Eastern Meigs being the same county, you only played 2 times, and, the entire time, at that era, it was Coach Mike Chansey, coaching. And Coach Mike and I actually work at Meigs, okay? That's where I've worked for 27 years as a teacher. And he and we've done a great job. He's the principal now, and we always enjoy each other. In today's era of football, you can get online anywhere, and you can see people playing football, 2 or 3 years ago, 1 year ago. With Huddle now, you can see things. Max Preps will have clips. So, we kind of know what they do, and they know what we do, and it's not really any secret. Like I said, Coach Yates has taken over and got them back on a winning track. Last year they ended up at 500, and they hadn't been there for several years. So I know he's doing a tremendous job. Of course, me being a teacher there, I know all the kids, and I have got an advisory class where I have like 22 students in there, and it's kind of like an academic type class. I help them with things in and out of, outside of school. Most of those guys are football players. And, last year when it was announced that we were playing, of course it was kind of an exciting thing. And they all, of course, gave me a hard time about it. And I kind of keep my mouth shut. I don't want to, say much about it. But they all have enjoyed the, back and forth a little bit, the razzing. But as far as knowing what they do, we know what we're prepared for what they run. I know their quarterback is a great quarterback. Gunner is, of course, he got hurt last year, but his long line of his brothers playing, and one's playing in the Division I football program. He's a great quarterback. So we know we got to prepare for him. And Griffin Hudson, I believe, is going to be one of the other running backs. I know he's a good kid. So, yeah.
How about for you guys? Playing county rival, what's that kind of like this year, especially to start your season?
It's different. We've never opened. I don't think we ever opened with Meigs before, and
I don't know. There's a lot of excitement around it. Every surrounding school is going to be there, and it's just going to be a great environment. I'm excited.
Matt, for you, you had a great junior year last year. 35 pancake blocks, 21 decleating blocks. Going into your senior season, what are you trying to accomplish, and how happy and excited are you for the season?
I'm really excited. I'm trying to be more of a leader and bring the younger guys up and help them when they need help. And I'm just trying to do better than I did last year, keep working.
Coach, for you, what's it like to have a guy that's so dominant along the line, being on the front end?
It's special. I can sum it up one way. Our offensive coordinator, who was our offensive line coach with Coach Markham, Cody Murphy, he sums it up by saying cheat code. He's a man. I know he's a young guy, but the man like that can bench press 430 pounds plus 30 whatever. It's unbelievable. Definitely, he's worked a lot in the off season, going to a lot of camps. Got invited to some big name programs. Got to see and talk to a lot of college coaches and give him things he's got to work on. He knows, first and foremost, his number one thing is to help his Eastern Eagle team. But he also knows I've got eyes in the sky watching me every snap. And it kind of elevates his game somewhat. We were just talking downstairs about there was a play we had in our scrimmage Friday night against St. Mary's. And I kind of asked him, I said, hey, why did this happen a certain way? He gave me his answer. And he's like, from now on, that doesn't happen that way. It's got to happen this way. So he's not only physically gifted and with strength and size, but he's also gifted with a good football IQ. And I attribute that to his dad also. His dad, our Coach Markham, Rob Markham, he's our offensive line coach now. He's coached for years and years. And, when you have that father that is also a coach, we talk to the guys. You got to call him my coach. You can't call him dad. We don't want him to do that. But when Coach Markham gets the guys and works with them, and Matt just doing what he said, I'm trying to develop the younger kids. That's a great combination. So all around, it's an awesome experience to have him, who he is as a player, but also as a coach's son. He's doing a great job.
Coach Carl Blaylock, Blaylock Media. With the smaller playoff this year, down to 12 teams instead of 16 like it has been the last few years, obviously, you focus on that more towards the end of the season, but does that create a little bit more of a sense of urgency throughout the season when you're playing some of the tougher games like Meigs, Waterford, etc.?
It does create a lot more urgency because only 12 are getting in. I'm going to give you my personal opinion. I think they made a mistake. I really do. There was a lot of talk about, there were some teams that opted out of playing. That's a rarity. But you also had, I forget what division it was, I want to say 5, a 16 upset a number 1. Okay, you can't take that away from teams like that. And especially in high school. And I like it that even if you're 2-8 or if you're 3-7, you get an extra week with your kids. That 2-8, 3-7 team could use that extra week to develop a freshman or a sophomore. Some people say, that week you can't get nothing out of me. Yeah, you can. And I feel that it's just my, humble opinion, worth nothing in the big picture. I think they should have left it at 16. And I voiced that. I wrote out a big, long letter. They asked the coaches what they thought, and I gave them all my ideas. But back to your original question, it does. You get that first win on a Division V team, and it does give you a little extra boost with your ratings points. So yeah, those are now more important than ever. I also feel one of the things it does is they're just setting it up for the number 4 team or the top 4 teams to have a pretty seamless way to get in. You get that off week now. You get kids to heal up. Well, it makes it tougher on a talented team that's say a 6, a 7, an 8, has played a tough schedule, but you got guys that are dinged up in a long season like that. I just, I think that they stacked it a little bit, and it's, but like I said, definitely you got to win those games you should win, and you got to come through with a game here or there that maybe you shouldn't win. So definitely.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I would like game. Okay, that's a Saturday night game. There's been some not reporting, but some stuff on social media that it was Friday, but that's a Saturday night game. So that's basically the only show in town, and that's going to be a big atmosphere down there in Pomeroy. So any of you guys that can be there, we'd love to have you there. And I know that Coach Yates and Kevin Musser's the AD, Coach Chancey's the principal there, and of course our administration, Nick Detweiler, our superintendent, and Garrett Hall, our principal, Brock Stewart, they're all in agreement that this is a great thing. And to kick off the season, we're hoping that, it's a huge atmosphere, and you guys are all welcome to be there. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.